What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Multiverse Monologues, the podcast show where we like to travel across the multiverses and fandoms that we love to talk about the movies and television shows that accompany those universes. In 2002, Tobey Maguire donned the cowl and responsibility of Spider-Man. 10 years later, Andrew Garfield would take up that role and responsibility, and then just 4 short years later, we would see that role inhabited by Tom Holland, and then the year after that, we would get Spider-Man Homecoming, and that just so happens to be the movie that is on the Marvel Movie Marathon, and the topic of discussion this week, because 7 years after Spider-Man Homecoming, 3 other gentlemen would be here to talk about it. Me, Ben Rayside,
years.
and first and foremost, the gentleman who helped make the show podcast. First and foremost, Mr. Ethan Wentzloff. Ethan, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Happy to be here. I love that you highlight, 8 years after this movie came out, or 7 years after this movie came out. But this movie starts with an 8-year unsolved time jump to this day. Ooh. No one knows what's going on there, Sony. Come on, be better.
I was hoping to get my timeline right with the events of everything. I think I did a pretty good job because Sony really... We're going to talk about it because to an average fan, 8 years, they look at that and then kind of forget about it. But the nerd community kind of flipped out after Spider-Man Homecoming came out because there's a big time difference, and we're going to get into that. Someone else who's also going to get into that and many other things is, of course, Mr. Micah Het. Micah, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. And I'm here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a student or soldier could have. Patience.
Patience.
Sometimes patience is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little. And in this case, it leads to an excellent podcast. Thank you for waiting 1 week, guys.
And an excellent post-credit scene.
Dang, yes, we have dropped the ball and we've missed a week for the podcast. Greatly apologize for that. We had an epic weekend up north at Silver Birch Ranch at a men's retreat, a church Bible retreat. It was a very good time. Our own Micah Het was on stage doing worship. There's a couple videos out there surfing around the interwebs if you dig hard enough.
Whoa.
But yeah,
Don't dig too hard, though, okay?
It was an epic weekend, but basically that's why there wasn't an episode last week, but we are back in full force this week, giving you our review and ranking of Spider-Man Homecoming. And we are greatly excited to do just that. But before we get into that, I just want to thank each and every one of you for getting us past 500 subscribers. We are now at 504, I believe is what it is. As of the recording of this podcast is 504. And I just like to say, I think I speak for all of us here. Thank you.
506.
506.
Guys, keep subbing.
Whoa, let's go.
And I checked last night. All right. So that's 2 more. That's pretty good stuff. All
right. By next Monday.
And Ben, something else that we've been forgetting to do at the beginning of the podcast is we have an end game in sight.
Oh, man. Okay, that is okay. I appreciate you bringing this up because yes, we do have an end game in sight. And the last couple weeks, we have always talked about that at the end of the podcast.
When we remember.
Listen, when we remember about it, because at the end of the podcast, we have an end game coming up, and we don't just mean Avengers Endgame, which we are all greatly anticipating to the review and ranking of, but we are also going to be taking a break from the Marvel Movie Marathon, and we are going to be broadening our wings, as they say, spreading our wings into different franchises.
Like the Vulture.
With that,
if you're nothing without the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
you shouldn't be a podcast.
It shouldn't be a podcast.
Well, we're going to branch off from that. After Endgame, actually, I think it's after Dark Phoenix, It
would be too poetic to end after Endgame, because that's not what this marathon's been about. This marathon's been about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're going to end with Dark Phoenix.
Yes. And basically kind of our reasoning is behind that. You don't go too far to where it almost kind of catches up with our own podcast. I believe our first Marvel movie that we reviewed on here never really released, but Shang-Chi. And then we got Eternals, so that's not too far after Dark Phoenix and Endgame. So this has kind of all been building to Secret Wars, and everything that kind of culminates with that process. But with the delays, but not dismays, of all of Hollywood with the writer's strike and COVID and everything like that, we kind of are not going to make it there because we're really plugging along here. We're almost done with phase 3. So we're going to take a break with Endgame and Dark Phoenix, and we're going to spread our wings. So what we'd like you guys to do is leave a comment down below on YouTube. If you're watching on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, switch over just a second. Leave a comment what franchise you would like us to review and rank every week once we reach the climax of all of these events, because we've gotten a few requests in the past. I know Star Wars is pretty popular right now, but we're looking to carry out the end of 2023 with the Marvel Universe Marathon, ending with Dark Phoenix, and then in 2024, give or take a few weeks, starting with a new franchise. So leave a comment down below. Let us know what you would like us to rank and review. Thank you for reminding me, Ethan.
Of course. Yeah.
With that, I say we get into the ranking. For Spider-Man Homecoming, gentlemen, let's open our sling rings and head over to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
If you'd actually cared, you'd actually be here. Ah!
Hi, I'm Captain America. Whether you're a student or a soldier, there's one thing that will always give you an edge: a hot lunch. You don't have to be injected with a secret government super soldier serum to have strong bones and muscles. A well-balanced diet is one of the best ways to help keep your body healthy. The food pyramid will help you find the balance.
Teenage Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, eagerly awaits his next mission from mentor Tony Stark. When a new villain, the Vulture, emerges, Peter must balance his high school life with his superhero duties to stop him, with or without Stark's approval. Peter's investigation leads him to discover that the Vulture is his girlfriend's father, and he must ultimately choose between his personal life and saving the city. It's classic Spider-Man. Despite making mistakes along the way, Peter proves himself to be a true hero, saving the day and earning Stark's respect.
Thank you, Bard.
Yeah, a little bit more. Thank you, Bard.
Girlfriend is a bit of a stretch.
Girlfriend is a bit of a stretch, but I really like the emphasis that Bard puts on teenage Peter Parker.
We have to reference Bard because the writer's strike is over, and you have to give credit to AI when AI is in use, okay?
Also, if you've seen the creator AI message in there, haven't seen it yet, really looking forward to watching that movie. If you've seen it, leave a comment down below. But yes, thank you, Bard.
If you've done anything, leave a comment down below. Go do that.
Any thought you ever listen
Down below,
please. Teenage Peter Parker, though.
Oh yeah,
Teenage Peter Parker, gentlemen. How is it to
not
have
28-year-old
Right.
Peter Parker?
Even though I think Tom Holland was 19 when he filmed this movie, you really feel like teenage Peter Parker.
oh, yeah.
And
He was like 17 in
Dude.
Civil War, right?
I think it was 18.
18?
I think it was
well, 17
but,
in film,
but he sells it. He sells it. And we're going to get into
15
that.
in film.
Yeah.
15 in film.
We're going to get into that and
No,
many
one
other
filming,
things.
it was 17, whatever.
But what I want to know is, gentlemen, what's your personal relationship with this movie? I know, Ethan, you're on the Marvel train at this point. Micah, not so much. It's always a wild card to see what movies you saw in theaters. I know you saw this one in theaters, though. What did you think of Spider-Man when it came out?
Oh, you know me. I can't miss a Spider-Man movie in theaters. Come on
It's
now.
Spider-Man.
All right. So the last movie I saw in theaters before this one was Civil War. I saw that one for Spider-Man. So, doggy, we got another Spider-Man movie coming out. I think I saw this one opening night. Maybe it was like the same weekend. I remember I was like, Mom, Dad, can we got to go see this. I don't think I had my driver's license yet. I think I was still, I was fresh into high school, looking for an impressionable movie that would just change my character forever.
Ooh.
And
Okay.
I saw this movie. And wow,
Oh.
what a movie.
Okay.
It's literally me. It was the first movie that I really related to. Man, this is a high school student that has superpowers. It was finally a Spider-Man I could really relate to because I wasn't a college student or I wasn't an upperclassman. This was actually like underclassman Spider-Man. I wasn't like a loser or anything in high school, but
you did have secret
neither was
superpowers.
he. He wasn't like
struggled
a
with.
loser. He was just like a cool dude.
But everyone deals with people they
Yeah.
don't like.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I saw this movie and I was like, all right, this dude's jacked. Where am I at right now?
No way.
Dude, when he like hits his suit or whatever and it comes off
and it
like,
falls
he's, like,
off,
just,
and,
like,
and Ned's
freaking
just like salivating with his Death Star, and he drops it.
me
Oh.
and Ned, dude. Like
I
both
could
of
have
us.
been, I could have been Tom
Ned and
Howard at that age. You mean to tell me that there are ripped? All right, so
Micah.
I went home from the theater,
Micah.
and I did 20 sit-ups.
You could have been Ned. You were Ned.
What? I was Ned. I was more of a Ned.
I think we all like. Listen, man. I just the amount of relatability that the movie it hit us all at the right time. I think that's
yeah.
what you're getting at.
And you know
we
what?
were all around that age.
I did 20 sit-ups after watching this the first time, and I did 20 sit-ups watching it this week, man. This is a good movie.
Bringing it back.
Man, I love this movie.
Okay.
Mike is positive on
Is it
Spider-Man.
the
Homecoming.
greatest Spider-Man movie ever, though?
Micah.
That is what it says on the box.
Ben, grab that.
Grab one of our Spider-Man Homecoming
Who
Blu-rays.
said that quote? Who
It
said that
says
quote?
on
right
the
there?
bottom, best Spider-Man ever.
5
by
stars.
Bill Zwecker. Oh, that's a different one. That's Fox TV 5 stars.
Bill Zwecker.
Of Chicago Sun-Times.
Oh.
Carefully balance that on top of our Homecoming stack.
It's like Jenga.
So I guess that's what we'll be discussing today. Where does this rank in our Spider-Man ranking?
Because we have a Spider-Man ranking, we have a trilogy ranking of Spider-Man movies, and we also have our ranking.
Because I definitely know where I'm going to put this.
All right, I also know, but first I want to go to Ethan now.
Yeah.
Mike, you're really hot on this. Ethan, what's your relationship?
all the
I,
Spider-Mans.
right when this movie came out,
Oh.
of course, went to see it. It was an MCU film. Check. Spider-Man. Check. Had Tony Stark. Check, check, check. That's a movie you got to go see. I went and saw it. And I mean, this was at the time where whatever Marvel fed me, I loved it no matter how good or bad it was. It's like, yeah, I love that movie. And this was the first Spider-Man movie. That's a lie. I saw TASM 2 in theaters. This was the second Spider-Man movie I saw in theaters, but definitely my most enjoyable theater experience up till this point in the marathon with a Spider-Man movie.
Ooh.
I mean, that's only 2.
I mean,
That's not a lot, but yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I am definitely not as hot on it as Micah is, but I do really love what John Watts did. And it was funny. I was watching the behind the scenes features, and he was saying how before he got offered to do the Spider-Man movie, the next film he wanted to make was a high school dramedy. And you really see that seep in, because I think the absolute best elements of this movie are the high school stuff, are Peter Parker in high school, Peter Parker going to homecoming, Peter Parker meeting the parents, all his interactions he has. I'm like, that was me. I feel like that awkward homecomingness.
Yep.
It's so good. And that giddiness you get in high school. Yeah, John Watts is able to capture that feeling perfectly. Now, where I think I don't like this movie as much is a few of the Spider-Man elements of it, but we'll dive into that later. I overall really like this movie.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I would say that this is definitely a movie that when you talk to Spider-Man first fans, you get a lot more pushback than usual. But when you're talking Spider-Man in the MCU, there's a lot to love. There's a significant amount to love. There's a lot of lore building in Spider-Man Homecoming with the regular events of the MCU. Like from the very start, you have Vulture, played excellently by the one and only Batman from 1989. Michael Keaton. They brought him back. Are you kidding me? That's epic. And I think he's one of the best parts of this movie, without a doubt.
Yeah.
One of the best Spider-Man villains, I would say, personally. But I would say I'm along the same lines as you, Ethan, where I would say I really like this movie. Probably not as much as Micah.
Oh, you just wait.
I just, there are certain
Micah's gonna
issues.
slip.
There are certain issues, I think, that this movie has that I'm like, but overall, a really solid outing. And I think at the time, especially, I was eating every bit of it up, because like Micah said and Ethan said, the relatability that I got from, I talked about it in Civil War. Spider-Man was, I watched Civil War and he said he had an algebra test. I had an algebra test that day. So growing in high school with Peter Parker was something that is so unique to those of us that grew up with it, and then having him in an Infinity War and Endgame being a part of this huge event, and he was the vehicle to which I experienced the MCU up to the, like, especially in phase 3.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think this movie is it has a lot of really good elements. So I'm excited to dive into that. But the first thing I want to dive into is Tom Holland's take on the character. We have seen 2 takes of Spider-Man on this one, 5 films, and now it's Tom Holland's turn. How does he live up to what we have seen before on this ranking?
It's definitely a different take, but it's also a different age Peter Parker. This is a much younger, well, I guess it's not even fresher, because Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was the origin story. This is more of a year 1 Spider-Man. And he's kind of developed in his powers. I mean, he's able to do some advanced things, but not mastered. He's got room to grow. And they always say, the suit eventually fits. And here he is. We are seeing that he needs to fit into the suit.
But which suit is it?
Which suit is it?
Which suit is it?
Spider-Man Lotus suit, perhaps?
Whoa.
Yeah. I really like this version of Spider-Man. He's very giddy. He's very likable. Is he exactly what I want Peter Parker to be? Not really. He's a different kind of feel to him. And I don't know. There's just like things that I don't like about him. There's things that I do like about him. He seems kind of like generic. He seems like comic booky boy. But that's kind of what Peter Parker is. I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence of how I feel about him.
Ethan, where are you at with Tom Holland?
I really like Tom Holland as Peter, and I like him as Spider-Man. Not as much as I like him as Peter, but I think just when you think of Peter Parker, this is what I think of. And yeah, Tobey Maguire is iconic, but he's not like the definitive Peter Parker, even though he was the first to play it. But I think Tobey's just a tad bit too awkward. And I mean, I love that in those movies because it makes it so fun to watch. He's a tad bit too old, and I think Tom Holland's writing is just, he's right where he wanted to be, where he's not too cool like it felt Andrew Garfield got, and he's not too incredibly awkward where Toby got it. He's right. He toes the line, and you're like, I could see being friends with this guy, but I could also see like why people maybe wouldn't be friends with this guy in a way, because he's got the stupid shirts, the find X here, but I think they do a good job. Like, he's in class, he's making web fluid, which is the first time we get that, correct? Because Andrew steals the web fluid from Oscorp, and Toby has webs in his veins. So it's the first time we get to see on screen someone making web fluid. I really like that. And I really do like his hoodie suit. I think that's really cool.
That's a really cool suit.
I like that suit a lot. Yeah. That's what Mark Webb tried doing. He said he wanted to make the Andrew Garfield ones different. And they were different, but not in the ways we really wanted them to be. This movie is different, and in some ways that I don't want it to be, but in some ways I really did want it to be. So they found that balance, not that perfect balance. I think the Spider-Man-isms of this are a lot less evident. You don't really get that New York feel. It feels more like subdivision, like suburbs. That's where this Spider-Man is around. You don't get the big buildings, the big swinging. I don't know, from a Peter Parker standpoint, I really like what this movie does.
Yeah. I gotta say, I feel like it's, to compare it to a past movie that we've seen, it's kind of like all of the other first movies in a trilogy that we've seen. Like with Guardians, they played a lot of the characters a lot safer than what they do in Guardians 2. With Captain America, they play him very by the book, right? They play him very, we don't want to mess this up because we have so much we want to do with this character. There's too much money on the line. We're going to do a safe, really good, solid, just all around. Everyone's going to like this movie. They're going to come out of
risks.
Yeah. They're going to go out of this movie. They're going to say, okay, yeah, this was a good movie. What's next? And that's fine.
And that's what it feels like you have to do that. You have to be safe, especially when this is your
The third go around.
And especially whether people like it or not, this is the MCU Spider-Man. This is the Spider-Man that will be along Captain America one day and Thor and Iron Man. This is the guy. So you want to make it as likable as possible. But what do you guys think about the move to completely remove the whole Ben Parker storyline? Because that's a huge part of the character. With great power comes great responsibility. But we also have hindsight of 2020, of 2021 or whenever Spider-Man No Way Home came out. He does get that with great power moment. It's just different than we thought it'd be and later than we thought it'd be. But it does build on, this is a different multiverse. The origins can be different.
With the Spider-Verse in mind, I think it's really cool to see that, in retrospect, all of the differences that we've seen in the movies have all just been branches in the timeline. They've all been leading up, and eventually they would happen, as confirmed by Across the Spider-Verse. There was a death. There will be another canon event. There will be another, what are they called in the Across Nexus event, whatever they're called. Yeah, there's gonna be that character building moment, and we're gonna see it eventually. That's what it is. Whether it's in the freshman year show, whether it's in Spider-Man 4,
and I think
No Way Home.
The quote you opened up with, patience. Patience is really the key. We've kind of talked about it. Patience is the key to the whole MCU, and I think it's also the key with Spider-Man because I think the next Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland, will be that Spider-Man that a lot of people wanted to be this one.
With a lot of baggage, a lot of stuff that's happened, a lot of responsibility needing to be taken, even more so now, and he's on his own with no help, which has been the biggest complaint with Tom Holland's Spider-Man version. He has just Iron Boy Jr. Every problem he has is not solved by his own responsibility, by his own power, by his own perseverance. It's all just, Iron Man comes in and helps him and saves the day, which I think is a ludicrous take, but it's definitely out there. It's definitely out there. And I think I like that you bring up Spider-Verse because at the time, having no Uncle Ben was kind of important to me. I was like, where's Uncle Ben? It's a Spider-Man. And having it be MCU Spider-Man, I was like, oh man, this has to be the best, most definitive version. It has to get everything right. Mm-hmm. And then Spider-Verse comes out. And it makes every Spider-Man story you're watching just as important as the next one. Mm-hmm. It's just, this one is a different take. This is a different take on Spider-Man. And with that in mind, Tom's story, I throw out a lot of the criticisms with Tom's story. If you want your traditional Ben Parker story, the traditional way, go watch the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. If you want a more edgy, more darker version of Spider-Man, you go watch Andrew Garfield. And if you want the MCU Spider-Man, the one that's going to interact with all of your favorite characters, here is Tom Holland.
This is something I noted watching this one. This is our first Spider-Man movie in their marathon that just is fun. Like, we haven't had a fun one yet. Like, there are fun elements to the Tobey Maguire ones, but at the end of the day, that's Peter's struggle with being poor or finding love. He end of the day, he's very depressed. And same with Andrew Garfield. He's very sad. He loses Gwen at the end of that one. But this one, like I wrote note, I just said, this one is fun. And it just is. It's got that fun vibe. Him and Ned interacting. It's just fun.
And the friendly neighborhood stuff too. I love how just as it's a different take with Spider-Man, it's a different take with New York. New York was definitely a character in the previous movies, and here it is no different. This is, as you said, a suburb. It's more of a suburb Spider-Man, a friendly neighborhood. It focuses on the neighborhood part. We get to see the community. We get to see he messes up sometimes, and it's really funny still. And Stanley shows up, and
is this your bike? Whose bike is this?
Whose bike is this?
Don't make me come
Did
down
someone
there,
steal this
you
bike?
punk.
I love that stuff. When we haven't seen that before, and just knowing that you don't have to be 100% on board with this Spider-Man because there is a multiverse now, just amplifies every character. It makes it all fine.
It makes, that's my view on the Andrew Garfield movies. I
for sure
can watch those a lot better in hindsight when it's Yeah, this is just one of literally infinite Spider-Man stories we have and are gonna get.
And so what do you say to someone who comes up and is like, they make another Spider-Man, and it's like, yeah, well, this is just another Spider-Man movie. What's the point in getting invested now? Spider-Verse is out. Those movies are good, but what's the point in getting invested in another Spider-Man story?
What's the point in getting invested in every or any kind of story? Right? You want to experience it.
Yeah.
You want to experience the story. You want to see what they do. You want to go through the journey, right? That's the point of any movie, any story. Why?
About the journey.
And I like how you emphasize patience, both of you. Like, that's exactly what needed. I am been vocal on this channel. I am in love with Tom Holland's Spider-Man's journey throughout those first 3 films. I am a big fan of all 3 of them. In fact, as of right now, things could very well change. This is my least favorite in Tom Holland's trilogy. I love the way that they take him, and even more so now, because now he can be whatever. But seeing where he starts, his roots, this is a small film. It is so small scale. Yeah, Tony's in it, who's big scale, but they have a way of dumbing it down to, here's this kid, and here is this guy who is just trying to make ends meet for his family. At the end of the day, that's what Vulture is. He's not there to be this big, huge, bad guy like Mysterio is.
He's got some of the greatest motives out of any villain we've seen.
He's doing it for his family.
Yeah, and he's been doing it for years. I mean, it's just his job. And yeah, it turns into him peddling guns to, like these super weapons to common criminals, but I mean, it started from a place of good heart, good intentions, right?
Yeah. And I think no better way than to integrate this version of Spider-Man into the MCU than by opening with the aftermath of
with the DODC.
The Avengers. Yeah, such a good move. Like, not only is that a really cool lore-centric thing in the MCU, but it was like they get that street levelness down in this. And it's something that, because the MCU tries to go so huge, so grand all the time, where this is really cool. It's just, aliens invaded New York. Of course, there's going to be loose Chitauri weapons roaming around, and it's not going to be Avengers level threat, as Tony says, but they're going to need to be stopped.
Somebody's got to look out for the little guy.
Got to look out for the little guy.
They actually say that in this.
They
And
did.
that was cool. You didn't get your Ant-Man book, but I
didn't.
I kind of want to read it.
So, what do you guys think of Tony's inclusion in this?
So
significant.
I wrote it down. He's in 7 minutes and 45 seconds of the movie.
You timed. You were like,
I didn't time it. I found that online. That could be inaccurate, but like that's not too much of this movie.
Even 10 minutes is not that much.
and his impact on Spider-Man's character is very intentional. I mean, it's awesome. I love how he's in there for just enough time to not take the spotlight off of him. You forget that he was like, he's not super like, I'm the lead character, I'm going to steal the show, Tony. He's, all right, Peter, go back to being your friendly neighborhood guy, and we got it. See ya.
It never feels like it's Tony's story.
Yeah.
Never.
Right.
He's there to teach a lesson, but that has also been leveled as a criticism. That's how Spider-Man learns his lesson. Great scene, way. But a lot of people see that as an issue with the film. Yeah, Tony Stark's teaching Spider-Man lessons. Now, Spider-Man's supposed to learn it by himself. What do you say to that?
He is learning it by himself. Tony takes the suit away, and then he learns. I mean, I think that's I think that this Spider-Man learns more about himself in a shorter amount of time than the other ones did.
But if not for Tony Stark, would he have learned the lesson?
Oh, she doesn't know. Nobody knows. Well, I mean, Mr. Stark knows because he made my suit, but that's it.
Was Tony Stark made you that? Are you an Avenger?
Yeah, basically. You can't tell anybody about this. You gotta keep it a secret.
Secret why?
Yeah, but you know what she's like. If she finds out people try and kill me every single night, she's not gonna let me do this anymore. Come on, Ned, please.
Okay. I'll level with you. I don't think I can keep this a secret. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, Peter.
May cannot know. I cannot do that to her right now.
Yeah, and I love the incorporation of Ned because we've seen stories of Peter Parker being a lone so many times before, but this time right away they get Ned involved, and even Aunt May finds out by the end of this movie. Like it's so quick. Like they have Tony in there as a mentor, they have Ned in there as the friend. You just feel like right away, skipping all the sappy stuff of Spider-Man, we're just gonna go right into fun. And I wrote I wrote on my notes, I'm like, using Spider-Man as like street cred is such like a high school move. Of course, Peter knows Spider-Man. Like, come on.
Maybe I can be cool too.
Yeah.
If Spider-Man can be cool. Peter, this is so not cool. I don't think the hat's working.
Dude, that hat stuff is so good.
I love that.
Okay, that was me in middle school. I wore the hat.
You had a fedora?
Have
Dude, he did.
have fedoras
Because of indie or just because cool?
because
Both.
they're so cool. I don't know what sparked my love for fedoras at that point in life, but I just thought they were so cool. I don't know. None of them fit me because I have a big head and we just bought them from wherever. But
Well, we
anyway,
do Indiana
speaking
Jones.
of what did fit, I loved how I loved Karen. This is the first Karen that we kind of adore. This is a good AI kind of
AI entity.
robot suit thing.
Karen is the voice in the suit.
Yes, I love the powers in the suit. I love how Peter has no idea what's going on when he took off the training wheel protocol. I love how there's these little snippets of like, oh, this is the baby monitor protocol and it's the training wheels protocol, and oh, of course it is. Yeah. It's just the little jabs from
Activate instant kill.
Yeah.
You know, we get that back later. So nice.
That's right.
And
you
I-
seem like you don't know the powers in this suit. Do you want to go through a refresher course? I know the things. Yeah, it's just those things that like a high schooler would totally do.
A few of the things, like when they're trying to break into the suit, you see like when it's flipped inside out. Oh, that's how he rocks it when he fights
It's like,
Sandman.
oh, that's a cool suit. They should do that.
That's cool. Yeah, and you get Tony talking about MIT, and then we know later No Way Home is all because Peter can't get into MIT. And spoilers. Yeah, but I like what this does for both Peter's character and Tony's character, because Tony says in that scene, you know, if you can't have a suit, you shouldn't have it. He says, if you were to die, I'd feel like that's on me. And we see later he does die, and Tony does feel like that's on him. And it eventually leads to, spoiler alert, the death of Tony Stark. So this, you had said that Tony wasn't that big of a influence. So this ultimately, this little interaction, this little bit in this movie is where they take his arc and why he chooses to step back into the fight in Endgame.
He has his, if I remember right, he has his photo. He has a photo of Spider-Man in the kitchen, I think.
In
Or
the
Peter
cabin,
Parker,
yeah.
I should say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they are. They're friends from work, and it's more than that.
Even more than that, for
Yeah.
sure. Like, you see, like, he is trying to be the father figure. He even says it, like, don't cut me off when I'm complimenting you. My dad was never really there for me, you know, and I'm trying to break the cycle of shame, you know, like.
No, I'm not giving you a hug. I'm reach for the door. We're not there yet.
But he is trying to be the father figure that Peter's never had, you know? I would really like to know what happened to this Peter Parker's parents, you know? I feel like a
good
subplot with
Disney Plus spy series
Spy Kids
where
Armageddon.
the blood was infused and it could only bite this Peter Parker.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That would be a good show. Quick pop quiz here.
Yes.
The suit, the voice in the suit. This is a Marvel movie marathon alum.
Oh,
actually.
yes.
I'm gonna
no
quiz
way.
you guys here on this one. I had to look it up
I'll tell you
myself.
what,
so don't feel bad.
I once knew who was behind the voice, but right now it's
Jennifer Garner. Oh.
No, but it is a Jennifer actually.
Oh.
Jennifer Lawrence. No. Jennifer.
I don't know any other Jennifers.
She has appeared. You will see her on the most recent short that was
way.
posted.
No,
way.
Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly
No
is
way.
the voice
That's epic.
of.
Ang Lee's Hulk.
Ang Lee's Hulk.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Go check out that
See,
new short.
Just like how this Spider-Man isn't about the destination. Our watch through is not about the destination. It's about the journey and the memories that we make along the
gosh.
way.
Listen, you know how many movies I would never have watched if it wasn't for this? I'm so grateful to
I
this
would
Marvel
never have
movie
watched
marathon.
Big Hero 6.
I think I did see that one before, though.
I've seen it like 5 times.
Oh. Do we have the guy up there?
Oh, dude,
We always have him up
get
there.
him down here.
Let me
Oh my
get Fred.
gosh. All
We're
right,
too
Fred.
excited.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Guys,
You know, I'm getting
sorry.
pretty happy about this.
Ooh.
Because I think Happy is a standout character in this movie. I love how much character they give him in this and how annoyed
Yes.
he is at and how his whole B plot is moving out of
Yep.
Avengers Tower. What a cool way to implement a very important part of the Avengers timeline
Yeah.
in just a little bit of time.
One that we still don't have resolved to this day.
Talk about
Who-
patience.
Who bought Avengers Tower?
I did.
Oh, Micah did. Micah
moving
Wilson
in.
Fisk.
Who would you love to see have bought Avengers Tower?
Lex Luthor.
Someone had to be rich enough to do it. Oh man.
Wayne. It's Wayne Tower.
Only if it's Jesse. Only if it's Jesse Eisenberg. Oy. Hello, I bought Avengers Tower. I'm reading Jesse Tower. I'm gonna shave
Jesse
my head.
Eisenberg playing which MCU villain?
Lex Luthor.
Doctor Doom. Heck yeah.
MODOK
Heck
2.
yeah.
MODOK 2. I would like that.
Jesse Eisenberg as MODOK would be insane.
With the long hair as MODOK. That would be great.
Whoa. Is there an image of that on the internet? We gotta find it.
MODOK 2.
We also
Jesse
gotta
Eisenberg.
get. We also gotta
Jesse
get back on
Eisenberg
track.
as MODOK. I don't know, Ben, you're dreaming.
But yeah, Happy. I love how he's always. Him and Tony are kind of really into. When was the last? Wait, when was the last time we saw Tony? Was it Civil War?
Yeah.
So
But
this is
don't
directly
think
after Civil War.
Happy was Happy in Civil War? I don't think he was.
I don't remember.
No, he's only in this. But I love when he goes in there and he's like, oh, "This is insane! Oh my gosh, get the go through the shield!" And you're
So there's
thin
a
walls here.
in the special features. There's an 8-minute cut of that opening with Peter on his webcam. It's really fun
Because
to
that
watch.
was released early. That was a teaser for the movie. Yeah, you download the app or something, or you sign up for the text messaging. They've been doing this for every single Sony Spider-Man movie since Homecoming, where they give you like a bunch of preview content before if you sign up for all their promo things.
Text this number.
Yeah,
Sign up for
yeah.
the email chain.
Yeah, and then they send you. I remember you actually had to download the video. I had an iPhone
You
5C,
download it
at the time.
Dude, yeah.
and I had to download the little clips. It was so low quality. It was like there's better. Like the lowest quality on YouTube is better than this, and I'm downloading it, and it took like an hour to download this 10-second clip on whatever website they were doing.
That'll take you back to the, well, not us, but many fans. I watched a whole video on it. When Lord of the Rings was released, they had a trailer, and you had to go to the onering.net to see the first trailer, and it was,
Wow.
besides the Phantom Menace, the most viewed trailer at the time. Because Phantom Menace also had a similar rollout like that. You had to download the copy, and you didn't really get to see
Had
much except
bootleg
for.
recordings of it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but that's why the theaters.
No, but yeah, Happy's good in this movie, and I
Yeah.
like the little relationship they build up with the two, and you get to see it, you know, in later films as Happy kind of takes the Uncle Ben role per se. But yeah, Tony's like, "This Happy's forehead of security," you know. Always loved the forehead joke. So good.
The
I don't
whole,
like it.
the whole
I
car
don't like it.
sequence. That is just perfect.
You're not recording, are you? You're gonna have to delete that, right?
Yeah, right. We'll get it at that out, right? May, what are you wearing? Something skimpy, I hope. Even when I saw it, I was like, oh, whoa.
Whoa.
Oh, we were past that, Tony.
Speaking of Aunt May, oh, mama.
I guess we should get to Aunt May. Because
What do you guys think about this Aunt May compared to other Aunt Mays?
Marissa
Is it
Tomei?
comparable?
No,
Or should we do it like,
it is not comparable.
should we compare them
What-
as we do the Spider-Man?
How comparable? How, Ben?
9? 10?
No. Ben just said no.
I
I need
wasn't gonna
more
say that.
elaboration.
I'm just saying, this is a very
Who played the
different
first
take
Aunt May?
of
Mary, no.
Aunt May.
It was Aunt May.
Hey, dude, you might have been on. I think it is Mary.
Mary,
Yeah, it's
Mary something.
Mary Rose
Rosemary Harris.
Rosemary Harris. There it is.
Rosemary Harris.
Yep.
Yeah, she's like a 10 or 11 out of, and then, yeah.
As far as Aunt May portrayals go,
Okay, as
10
far as
out of
looks-
10.
this is the only, that was the only May that we got a nice prayer. Cause we know she's
Yes,
Christian.
Yeah, amen. Amen to that.
Amen.
Dude.
Finish it.
Deliver!
No, that's a good one. And then you have what's her name in Forrest Gump, the mom in Forrest Gump, as Amazing Spider-Man Aunt May.
Hubba.
And now you have Marissa Tomei. Come on. Even at the time, I was not
Sally Field.
a very big fan of Aunt May. I've definitely come around to her as Aunt May.
You what?
Well, come on. No, get serious here for a second. Try to have a conversation here. That's how it was, though. That's totally how it was when the movie came out.
Stop it.
Goobers.
Yeah. Keep going, bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's how it was. This is what it happens when you cast Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. You start to can't have a conversation about Aunt May.
She almost drops the first F-bomb again in the MCU. That's crazy.
Is it the
Who
first
did the
F-bomb?
first? Who almost dropped the first
Was
one?
this the first almost, or was this
Well, we
No,
got
the
Iron Man 2.
Guardians.
Iron Man 2?
Was there one in Iron Man 2?
Was there
No.
one?
What did you
No.
say? What did you just say? You said Guardians?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, when?
When the Infinity Stone blasts off after Karina gets the Power Stone, and then Quill gets out, he's like, "What the?" And then it fizzles out in the
Oh, okay.
background. There's that one.
In
I remember
Iron
that.
Man 2 court scene when President is yelling at Tony, they bleep it.
Oh, that's true.
It's on the news.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they finally commit. In
We got
Guardians 3.
Logan.
You know what else is news? News to Peter that his quote-unquote girlfriend's father is the Birdman himself.
Ooh, good reference.
That's a
Come
good
on.
reveal. I like that a lot.
Michael Keaton's Vulture's got to be.
What was a better reveal?
Come on.
Because this was a comparison, very much a callback to Green Goblin. How we knew that Green Goblin was Norman Osborn the whole time,
Right.
But Peter didn't know for the whole movie until a good 45 minutes were left, right? In this movie, same thing.
It's a full flip though on who
Peter
knows.
didn't know. Yeah.
Because now
That
Peter
was
knows.
so
Yeah.
nerve intensive.
Mm-hmm.
Nerve intensive. We'll
Pulls the
quote
gun
that.
I like
out of the glove compartment, puts it up, and says, "What is he saying?
I'll kill you, Pete.
I'll kill you. I'll kill
kill
you
ya.
good. I'll kill you
Insert-
dead.
Insert
Dead.
the clip right
I'll
there.
kill you dead.
I'll kill you dead, Pete.
Dude,
You don't touch my daughter.
No, he said you go in there, show
Go
her
in there,
a
you
good
show a
time.
good time. You grab her by the hips and you.
he says, "Does she know?" Know what? So she doesn't know. Play it close to the chest. I respect that. He's so cool and suave
Oh,
about
man.
it. The whole scene, he's sitting there, the light turns red, or no, the light turns green, vulture colors, and you're like,
Yeah.
good old Spider-Man. I
I
watched this
think
with
that
my
this-
mom for the first time.
yeah.
She was dying. She was dying at that scene. Especially, no, he opens up the door and she goes, oh. 'Cause me and my sister are sitting there, we're waiting for it to happen.
That's
we're
cool.
like, oh my.
I remember there was
Yeah.
an audible gasp in
Yep.
the theater. This was one of the first big wow moments in the
Yeah,
MCU.
yeah.
Have we had something like this in the MCU before where like either a cool action shot or a big reveal?
Bro,
Nothing like this.
The epic Mandarin twist in Iron Man 3.
Ooh, that's true.
Trevor Slatter.
What about the next big one? Ned using the web slingers in the school bus parking lot.
Pulling more punches than Peter in this one.
Dang.
Holy cow. Taking
Flowing-
out Shocker.
Flowing right into the next scene. What are you doing? There's a dance in here.
Ooh.
I'm watching porn.
That got a big laugh in my
That was
audience.
so
Yeah.
funny.
That was good stuff. What is worse than helping out Spider-Man? Not much, apparently.
that'll-
He's willing to go that far.
That'll get the teachers out of the room for sure.
But that's the
They
thing.
say, all right,
man.
you get out of here. This is done. We turn it
That's-
off.
You take going to your prom date's house, meeting her
Homecoming.
father, homecoming, for the first time, to a whole new level.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
whole new level. Are you kidding me?
You think he'll
you're
just be
normally
scared?
intimidated.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how he plays it off.
Then he's got a knife.
I got to give him the dad talk.
You feel so bad for Liz in that scene because Peter did
Don't
really
let him
like her,
intimidate you.
and then
Oh.
she just gets ditched at homecoming, and you're kind of like, oh, that really does suck. But with great power comes great responsibility, and they still get the core of that where
Yep.
Peter has to sacrifice who he is to support who Spider-Man is and what Spider-Man needs to do. Like he bails on the team in DC, and he bails on Liz at the end. Like he has to. That's just part of Spider-Man, and I like that they caught that in this.
You could say he bails on the Avengers in the end to be the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man,
No,
to
you
have
should-
the
That was a test,
responsibility.
right?
Made a really mature choice.
Yeah. It surprised the heck out of us. Holy cow. I will say, though,
And then-
that Iron Spider suit, I don't know, sitting there, if it was me, man, and Tony's giving me the new suit, I don't know if I'd be able to pass that
That's
up.
why you're not Spider-Man, Ben.
The
That's
kid
why
made a
I'm not
mature
Spider-Man.
choice. Don't tear him down
on.
for that.
That's true.
Come on.
Seeing Pepper again at the end,
Yeah.
that was cool.
Proposing to it?
Come on.
Wow.
Pretty good. Are you kidding? I've been hanging on to this since 2008. That's the only time reference that they get right in this movie.
Yep.
2017, 5 years ago, 2012, Avengers. And yet, 8 years have passed. Have you guys heard an explanation for this?
You're talking about the studio that gave us Morbius. That
Ooh.
is the
Speaking-
explanation. Okay.
Speaking of Morbius, this isn't our only movie that we have Vulture in.
Very true. It's got something to
And
do with
since this might be the
Spider-Man.
only time we can talk about it for a while,
Got to talk about him.
We do
One
have-
of the great MCU villains that they keep alive. They rip out, take him to the Sony verse, where he gets to fight with Jared Leto, Morbius.
and
But you know what they
no
say?
one else that he's making a team with.
It's Morbin time.
That's never going to happen. There's no way that Michael Keaton will show up for that.
He showed up for the Flash. You know,
Yeah, but
he'll
that's-
take a paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
I guess
Rip
that's
the
true.
check, he'll take it.
That's going to be most
Whatever.
of
As
Morbius
long
2
as the
budget.
Sinister Six with Michael Keaton, Vulture, and Jared Leto, Morbius show up in Secret Wars, I'm a happy man.
Ooh. Holy cow.
Or if they show up in Deadpool 3 and
In
Deadpool
Loki
kills
season
them.
2,
Yeah.
Loki
this
season 2.
weekend.
They did do
Holy cow.
do a mock-up. I saw a fake poster of
That was a real one.
it was real.
It was real.
I saw Ben Affleck up there. TVA vest on there. He's a criminal. Come on.
Dude, if they bring Ben Affleck Daredevil into Loki.
There's no way.
go.
I
with it.
want Fantastic Four, Chris Evans. I want Ben Affleck Daredevil.
I don't think it's going to be a cameo fest. I think
Loki-
that's dead.
Loki-
I want Taylor Swift.
as Dazzler.
As Dazzler.
As
That's the
Dazzler.
most recent.
There-
Yeah.
No. Loki's too well written and structured to
Yep.
turn into that.
And I'm glad for it. I don't want
I
it to
want
be.
Lightning McQueen. Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson.
Oh.
I'll take that. Fine.
I just want him on a speedboat. All right. That's all I want.
Jet ski.
But
Can't
we,
flub that.
going back to how Sony fumbled him, but back to this movie, there's a really intriguing setup here at the end of Homecoming. The end credit scene shows him showing up to Matt Gargan, who we know and longtime comic fans know, who is not the lizard, the
Scorpion.
scorpion. Thank you. Wrong.
Played by Michael Mando, who
Yeah.
famously plays Nacho in Better Call Saul. Great character in that show.
What happened to that, man? What
What?
happened to that subplot?
I didn't know that he was going to be Scorpion. This is news to me.
Dude,
the
that-
big tattoo on his neck wasn't
Come
subtle
on.
enough for you,
I
Michael?
didn't see it.
Oh, dang, man. That post-credit scene, that was one of the things Far From Home trailer comes out, and Mysterio is the villain, and I'm like, well, wait, what happened to this kind of Sinister Six
I won't
setup,
complain.
You know?
Jake Gyllenhaal, I'll take him any
No,
day.
Yeah, That's one of the few post credit scenes that will never get resolved to that because they can't.
I hope
No one
Mysterio is
knows who
in-
Peter Parker is anymore.
If Mysterio is in Loki, that would be pretty cool. That we
would
could
be
have a
cool.
little reunion.
I'd like that guy though to come back as Scorpion, as maybe
He's
one
great.
of Spider-Man.
He's in
yeah,
top tier actor. Yeah.
I would like to see that. Scorpion, I don't think have seen as of yet in live action Spider-Man as a villain. We
No.
saw him kind of in Spider-Verse, and I mean he's a big part of the
You
PS4
see his
Spider-Man. but-
his little stinger in No Way Home at the end when all the guys are coming in.
Good pull. Good point.
Yeah.
That's true. But I really do think as far as villains go, on this Marvel movie marathon, tying it back, this is definitely one of the best, I think. One of the most personal you can get. Great motives. Wants to do it for his family. He's the blue collar. I think all of us can relate to that. It's just,
You just need money.
he's got good morals.
Oh, no way. In Spider-Man PS4, in the J. Jonah Jameson podcast, he admits that he bankrolled Matt Gargan's transformation into Scorpion.
What?
Yeah,
He
that's
admits
crazy.
that? Dude,
So that he could serve as an anti-Spider-Man.
that J. Jonah Jameson is the only one besides
That's one of the craziest J. Jonah Jameson lores.
what's his name? Who's the guy who plays him?
Mhm.
J. Jonah Jameson. What's his name?
J.K. Simmons.
J.K.
Jake-
Simmons.
I
Oh
thought
my
you meant
gosh.
in the
No,
game.
the one from PS4 Spider-Man is a completely acceptable variant. Everyone else is trash.
Everyone else is a deviant.
Yeah. But I really like the one from PS4
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
he's good.
Micah, you had said you wanted to mention MJ. Zendaya herself.
Yeah, we got to talk about relationships.
Guys, I don't like MJ in this movie. I think that she's not a good. I just don't think she's a good character. She's written very. It just reminds me of that indie movie. You know which one I'm talking about. Like it's not just one indie movie, but it's
The genre.
that girl who's just different.
Edgy.
She doesn't get along with everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's just like, oh, I don't need friends. I don't have friends. I'm just cool by myself.
Yeah. And you see that progression through her character in the second one and the third one.
She
But
is not the same character
because
in No Way Home.
her name isn't even revealed till the very last minute, so you're not supposed to view her as this is Peter's MJ. It's
I
just
remember feeling a bit ripped off at the
Yeah.
end of this. The first time I watched this, I was like, what? That's MJ? Not in like, she doesn't look like MJ to me, or not in like, I was flabbergasted because she didn't act like an MJ at all.
But Micah,
She didn't
$1 million question.
Yeah.
Kristen Dunst, we famously don't like that portrayal too
We
much.
don't like her character, but that's she's more of an MJ to me than Zendaya is.
Is that-
Listen, guys,
Yeah.
Zendaya's got 2 minutes and 50 seconds of screen time in Spider-Man Homecoming.
And she takes the stage.
I like Zendaya, but she's not a character yet. She is there, but Liz is the love interest.
And I
Liz
like
Allen
that.
is the love interest.
Like
yeah.
this goes along with this being the fun Spider-Man
Yep.
movie because even the love interest doesn't pay out. And
Very true.
I think that's really cool because it's like not everything has to be like we had to follow the drama of these characters throughout the whole trilogy and build. No, like she's just there and it's fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I really like where they take Zendaya's character
I do
of
too.
MJ. She doesn't have to be Mary Jane Watson. She can be Michelle Jones if she wants. I do like Zendaya as an actress. I don't get
Oh, yeah.
the hype around Zendaya that everyone throws it, but I think she is a good actress, and I think she really comes into her own in Far From Home. Far From Home, I think, is peak Peter and MJ. No Way Home kind of gets really big, and I think they have a really good relationship in that too. But Far From Home is when, like, they have a really good relationship built in that one. And I will say this: my mom was also flabbergasted when she said that.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at her, and she looked at me, and she went,
What?
"What? That's
love
not MJ.
I love your mom was watching through this. It's so fun.
What?
What? It was so cool. Our schedules lined up. She's on Homecoming. I was on Homecoming. Let's
High
go.
schools are currently on Homecoming.
Oh yeah, that's
Couldn't have
true.
been better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting this out at a great time. We had so much traction.
If we
Holy
got it out
cow.
last week, it would have been. But
That's true.
Yeah,
Homecoming
who
goes for
cares?
like a month, though.
and next week is HBR's Homecoming, so
Yeah,
it'll come out just after them.
There you go.
So
Maybe
it's
we
ve-
missed it.
Easy money.
it's very rare that in the Marvel movie marathon we get an appearance of not one, but two actors from a show that I put you both on, Severance. We have two Severance actors in here, and I want to see if did you guys spot them both?
Hannibal Buress. Oh wait. yeah. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You're the dude from YouTube.
Yeah.
We have
my
we have
gosh.
Zach Cherry.
Did not make
Yeah.
that connection. Holy
And then
cow.
the one that I didn't realize until I was watching the special features and I got to see him sit down and interview. The Tinkerer is Rickon. Rickon is the guy who writes the book in Severance that leads the innies
Holy
to
cow.
have the
Dude,
little
what?
revolution.
No
yeah.
way.
I thought
That's
dope.
like it genuinely adds to it just because of how much I love Severance. Dude, that's epic. There's a lot of like little Easter egg and actor. I really like that the sub shop. Best sandwiches in Queens. Delmar's, Mr. Delmar. Yeah. I really like that, the small town feel of that.
Yeah, too much bread.
I do I've been very positive.
Yeah.
We didn't
I
even
wanted-
talk about the Miles Morales stuff.
Well, yeah, we'll get to
That's
that.
so sick.
I do have a complaint though,
Yeah.
and it's with the pacing of the movie. Once he gets the suit and he's largely on his own in Washington, getting back there, the middle meanders.
I agree.
Definitely upon rewatch.
Feels a bit slow.
It
Yeah.
does. Because first time watching it, I think rewatches, that's where it gets rough with Spider-Man Homecoming. And that's why I don't think it's as well thought of. It's a great origin story or a reintroduction to this character. But watching it again over and over, I've seen this movie 3 times in the past couple of years, and it meanders in the middle of it,
It
man.
does, yeah.
Especially in the warehouse. I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, all right. How much longer do we have left?
Fun the first time.
It's
yeah.
very
left,
much you're riding the hype of Spider-Man. This is the first Spider-Man movie in 5 years. Like this is right. This is, oh man, yeah, Spider-Man's doing Spider-Man things, and it's Spider-Man. He's on screen. I feel like there's a lot of
3 years
since Civil
Spider-Man.
Wars or Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, okay. Well,
Spider-Man centric movie.
Well, it's been
Sorry,
3
I was
years.
getting that right
Sorry,
in my head.
3 years.
Yeah.
And oh, yeah, it's been 3 years. And I just think it's riding on the hype.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's taken the crutch
Mhm.
and it's running with it. It's doing things that we want to
Yeah.
see. But on rewatch, it's like, okay, yeah, the novelty's worn off.
Yeah. That's a pretty large negative for me.
Yeah.
It hurts it. That along with some of it's just not going to be as one of my favorites. The small scale of it, even though I appreciate the small scale of it, also lends to where I put this in my ranking. You have your big, huge Avengers level movies, and even those have their downfall, but it is nice when the stakes are super high. You know, it is just, I lend myself towards those kind of viewing experiences. And while this one is good, it is small scale. Part of that does take it away from me, or maybe it just doesn't go far enough to get me so invested in Peter's struggle.
It doesn't go
in this one.
far enough from home.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind. That's
So
kind
that's
of
what
what
you
I'm
want out
saying.
of the sequel. You want to just go further from home.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
All the way into Europe.
All right.
Are there any other things you guys want to say before we get into favorite character?
Yeah, no swinging scene. I know we talk about that a lot, but he doesn't get that iconic like
point.
swing scene that we really like Spider-Man for, and kind of like what the Raimi became famous for. They end on the Tobey Maguire swinging, and you never get that downtown New York feel. Yeah, you get the suburbs feel, but you don't get that downtown feel that I like. The J. Jonah Jameson, they do bring him in, which is great. You do feel that missing from this movie, that aspect, the menace side of Spider-Man. But no, I mean, I like the bit in the golf course where his web just shoots out into nothing. It's a good bit.
The Ferris Bueller reference too.
Yeah, Ferris
That's
Bueller.
A lot of Ferris Bueller's references.
Name drop of the Prowler. before Into the Spider-Verse, this movie's hipster. It's ahead of its time, man.
I got a nephew who live here.
Who's that? I don't care.
No, you
Or do I?
When are we gonna see Miles
When are we going to see
in
Miles?
the MCU?
I mean, we saw the Prowler live action in Across the Spider-Verse, which was insane to me. I remember when I watched Across the Spider-Verse, I was like, no way, the dude from Community.
Donald Glover. Yeah.
I forgot he was in this movie. I forgot he was already an
layers.
established Spider-Man character.
That was spoiled for me. I'm sitting, not spoiled for me, but like one of the guys said, this movie has one of the most insane cameos. I just can't believe it. It's so layered. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this cameo? And then he revealed it a couple days later after I'd seen the movie. Donald Glover as Proud. I was like, oh.
Who?
So I kind of got disappointed by it almost. Like, it's not the most insane cameo.
You know, when
but
you know
like,
the history of Donald Glover and how he had kind of had a hand in the creation of Miles Morales.
yeah.
That's all cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It's
What?
just not mind-boggling. I mean, he's thrown in because of his love and care for the character of
It's our
Spider-Man.
Nick Cage Superman
Thrown
moment.
here. That is how much that cameo is layered. Man, we had some insane cameos in 2023. Huh, looking back on it. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. Why am I debating on what my favorite movie was?
It's the Flash.
Anyway,
duh.
Flash.
yeah, of course. Indiana
It's
Jones.
based on the cameos.
Dial of Destiny, baby.
Anyway, gentlemen, favorite character. Favorite character in Spider-Man Homecoming. Mike, I'm going to shoot this to
Bodega
you
Cat.
first.
Bodega Cat.
Murph.
Murph,
Save the cat. He did it.
don't leave
He
me,
did.
Murph.
Come on.
Don't leave me, Murph.
This is
Make him
great.
stay.
Stay in school, kid. Stay in school. Are you
Well,
taking
that's
Mr.
like me.
Delmar?
No, I'm gonna take.
Aunt May.
I'm gonna take Ant-Man. I'm gonna take Captain America.
take her
Yes. Okay.
Captain America
Oh.
Hannibal Buress combo. That made me laugh so
Dude,
much.
He's standing on the wrong side of the TV.
Yeah.
That-
My good friend, your gym teacher. And he
Dude, that is pretty good.
it's like
hey, where you going?
I don't care. It's like, I'm pretty sure this man's a war criminal now, but
Whatever. I gotta show you.
I gotta
anyway.
show these videos. He's good. Yeah.
If you actually
I
are
like to draw
choosing
people
that,
in distress.
like, that's a good pick.
we gotta highlight Martin Starr's return, as we saw him as Pizza
Yeah.
Guy in The Incredible Hulk.
Yes.
You know, this is in canon's same character.
Also,
Confirmed.
the principal of the school is same actor, descendant of one of the Howling Commandos from Captain
yes.
America.
Dude.
Ethan, favorite character.
Ned
Flash.
Leeds.
Oh.
Flash. Yeah. No,
Dude.
Ned. I like Ned. Ned is so funny. He's so like.
You just
like,
want to be Ned, don't you?
wanna be
He's
Ned.
got a. Yeah, sure, it's destroyed, but at least he has a Death Star.
Dude.
Yes, that Death Star is.
My new Lego Death Star.
Yeah, great
Join
intro,
me.
great introduction to the character, and
And Star
he's
Wars.
Just,
and
he's
the
just so
Disney.
funny. I love the dynamic he brings to Peter, and he's like talking to him on the street after learning about the powers. Like, can you do this? Can you shoot webs out of your butt? Can you do this? It's like, no, Ned, no. And the hat bit is so good. And Emmy's, I forget the quote, but she's like, some people wear a hat, Ned, but that hat wears you, or something like that.
You wear that hat.
Yeah, you wear that hat. I flipped it. But yeah, he's so funny. I like him. I like what he gives to this Spider-Man world, this universe. He's so fresh and new to the world of Spider-Man.
Dude, she even drives a hot car.
All right.
Micah, do you have to take Aunt May?
Micah,
is Aunt May your favorite character?
I can't.
Can't even change the subject without coming back to Aunt May. Dang.
Just go, bad. Go.
Jeez. Holy catfish. All right. My favorite character is Tony Stark. No, it's not Tony Stark.
Yes, Tony.
Tony
No,
Stark.
he's a good one, but I'm going with Peter.
MJ.
I'm going with Peter Parker. I think Tom
Okay.
Holland really okay. You go with the main character, but I think he really does a great job, and I think he gets a lot of hate. A lot of people
Logan.
criticize his performance as being whiny, very kiddish, but that's who he is. This is the start of Spider-Man's character, and a lot of people say he kind of goes backwards from the maturity that we see in Civil War. Definitely disagree with that too.
Yeah,
I
what?
think the journey that he goes on in Civil War and then going straight into Homecoming as mentored by Tony, mentored by Happy, mentored by Aunt May. He's got his friends. It's textbook Spider-Man, even though there's a lot of differences supposedly from many people, but I think he goes through an excellent journey. And this time it's about the suit, the help from others. Sometimes you're not going to be able to get all this help from others. Sometimes you're going to have to do it yourself. That's the core responsibility. That's the core lesson that Peter learns in this movie. And I love the scene. It's not going to be my favorite one, but I love the scene where he picks it up and his first instinct is to shout for help. Help! Somebody help! I'm hurt, help! And then it's, nah, I got to do this on my own. Come on, Spider-Man. And then you get it's lifted straight from the comics. You lift it up. Love that image in the water. And that's when it comes full circle. That's a great moment in the series. Actually, you know what? I am taking that as my favorite scene. I am taking that as my favorite scene. That's a great, fantastic scene right there of the whole lesson in the movie, the whole theme coming full circle, crescendoing in that moment. You see that the mask, partially his face, partially Spider-Man mask. It's a great scene. Peter Parker, favorite character? That's my favorite scene. Micah, your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is the car ride.
Good scene.
Vulture.
Someone had
I
to take
love the conversation up to the green light. Oh, good old Spider-Man.
Good old Spider-Man.
That's good. We already talked about it, so I
Yeah.
won't talk about it much more, and we got to keep moving. But
it. He's scarier as Adrian Toomes than he is as Vulture.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
what villain does that? Man,
Not many.
love it.
Yep.
My favorite scene, I know it's a scene that gets talked about and criticized the most, but I like if you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it. I think it's a really good character moment for both Peter and Tony, and for MCU, I guess whatever, fanboys, fake fans. They criticize this moment because who is Tony Stark? He's a man with an iron suit. But if you've been watching him, you've been watching his character, you know he's more than just that suit. Come on now. So, yeah, I really like that moment and just what it does for Tony's future going into Endgame and his future, and then what it does with Peter and how he builds off that.
Yep. Great scene. Gentlemen, it's time for scores.
I've got something I want to say about monies here, fellas.
Ooh. Yeah. Get into
Spider-Man
numbers.
3 made $894 million. This made $878. So this is second
under.
place in the watch through so far. This is second place for Spider-Man movies in the box office.
800, what was it?
$878 million
On a budget of
of 175.
175.
So the profit ratio is 5 times the budget, and Spider-Man 3 made 3.5 times the budget. So technically, this was more of a success than Spider-Man 3. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Made a lot of money.
So yeah, I just wanted to note that out. It's not our most profitable Spider-Man movie, as we'll come to see, but so far it is the second most.
Nice. What does the internet think of this before we get to our infamous list?
Infamous list. So Spider-Man Homecoming is generally well received, with a 92 on Metacritic, or Rotten Tomatoes critic, an 87 on Rotten Tomatoes audience, a 73 on Metacritic, a 7.5 out of 10 on Metacritic user, a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 3.6 on Letterboxd.
That's a lot of sevens.
That is a lot of sevens, yeah. Averaging out to a 78%. A 7.8 out of 10. Too much water.
Too much water.
Too much water. That's an old IGN reference. They rated the Pokemon games 7.8 out of 10 for too much water.
They give a lot of sevens.
Yeah. So this gives it in the internet ranking 20th place.
20th.
20th place.
Out of 74?
Yeah, just above Doctor Strange, just under Black Panther. Out of,
look
I
at that.
think I have 93 movies now on the list.
93?
93, yep. I just keep adding them.
Okay.
But the list that matters a little bit more than that
Oh, yeah.
is this better or worse than Love and Thunder?
The Hollywood Reporter ranking.
What?
You know what? I think that the Hollywood Reporter really hates this movie.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that they Not me.
The infamous list.
They put it worse than Love and Thunder.
I'm gonna have to go agree with Ethan.
Okay. It is one less than Love and Thunder at 33rd place. 2 places above Endgame, I'll have you know.
Agree, this movie's-
and
yeah.
4 places above First Class.
Wow.
Peak class.
Peak class.
Peak class.
Wow. And what 34th?
I think that Screen Crush put it better when they put it in 9th place. I think that's a little closer, but I think that's still kind of high.
It's a bit
9.
too generous.
bit too
there.
high.
Yeah.
But those don't matter.
Yep.
As
None
we
of that
will
matters.
see,
Yeah.
the real score is about to happen.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm gonna go with Micah first on this one. Micah, you've been first for most of this stuff, so I'm gonna continue it. I'm gonna continue the trend.
I've been looking at my scores here. I've been looking at where do I think this is compared to the other Spider-Man movies. Is it better than the Holy Trinity? In ways I don't think so. I believe that this, while it has its own energy, its own feel, I don't think that it develops the characters all of the characters that we've come to know and love out of the Spider-Man trilogy as much as it should have. But it needed to play it safe. It needed to keep its cards close to its chest. It needed to keep its viewers waiting for the future that would be Tom Holland Spider-Man. And what's crazy is that we won't see him until Infinity War. Because that's
Which,
coming up close.
in retrospect, is not that
Super soon.
far
It's
away.
not that far from home. So I'm looking at my scores here. I gave Amazing Spider-Man 2 a 7.9. I gave Spider-Man an 8.2. And I gave Spider-Man 3 an 8.5.
Ooh.
I think while this was a really good movie, it didn't hit everything that I wanted it to hit. There are a few really good character beats. Vulture is insane. Amazing comedy, right? It took everything in a good direction, but like you said, Ben, there are a lot of wasted moments in this movie as well. And so for that, I'm going to have to give it a 7.8 out of 10. There was too much water.
One less than Amazing Spider-Man 2, do I hear?
That's right.
Wow.
But far and above over The Amazing Spider-Man, which I gave
Yes.
a 6.2.
Yes.
So
Okay,
7.8.
7.8. I think that was the exact internet score, was it not?
It was. I think that they were very right on this.
Yep.
This is definitely it's Spider-Man.
Yeah,
It really is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And they don't, yeah. I mean, I've said what needs to be said. It does Spider-Man things. But it doesn't do all the Spider-Man things, so it's not quite in the 8 range. It's not. Would I rewatch this? Sure, it's fun. But is it? Would I say, all right, you want Spider-Man? Go to Spider-Man: Homecoming. No, I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
That's a good. I like that point. That's good. Ethan.
Yeah, I roll off right what Micah said. If you want Spider-Man, maybe this isn't your go-to. I think that Spider-Man 1's stronger. Micah, could you pull up my Spider-Man 1 score, the first
you
one?
betcha.
And I think Spider-Man 2 is
7.5,
definitely stronger.
8.7.
So, not to say that I like I think there are elements to Spider-Man 1 that are definitely like duds. And yeah, but
It has so much character.
it has so much character. I have to say this though, as a Spider-Man movie, it's not as high as those. But as a movie, as an entertainment value movie, I think it edges past the first Spider-Man just a little for me.
I thought about Love and Thunder.
Just above Love and Thunder. No, John Watts set out to make a high school teenage movie, and I think he did that really, really well. I think the Spider-Man elements are a bit lacking for me. I like the look of the suit, but you were talking about you like Karen. I'm not the biggest fan of what Karen brings to the suit. I don't like all his interesting weapons. Like I'm a big fan of the story of Tom Holland, where he goes, and I like that he ends in his hoodie suit, in the suit that he made. I like that a lot. And I do like the Tony Stark elements. The fairy scene is cool the first couple times you watch it. But yeah, it gets repetitive. This middle of this movie gets repetitive. So I think I like the first Spider-Man. Just today, I like it better than this one. But they're both. I give them both a 7.5.
Interesting. Pretty good. Micah, what was my Spider-Man 1 score?
I like how we're comparing this all to Spider-Man 1, the OG. An 8.
Interesting.
Yep. Ethan was a 7.5. I was an 8.2, and Ben, you were an 8.
Interesting. That's an 8. And I'm also giving Spider-Man Homecoming an 8. I really like this movie. I think the biggest downfall, though, is its rewatchability. A lot of my most recent rewatches have been because I've been watching Spider-Man movies. And as a specific Spider-Man film, watching it along with all the other ones, it really feels like an MCU Spider-Man movie. So watching it right after Amazing Spider-Man 2 is like, oh man, I'm missing that Spider-Man element to it. This is the MCU Spider-Man. And so it kind of loses points for me, but that's also with the way I was watching it. I have to look at this movie as Peter Parker's introduction to the MCU and his homecoming in high school. And that is exactly what it set out to do. There's a great performance by Michael Keaton. There is a lot to love about this movie. But in the end of the day, when I'm doing my Marvel marathon, my MCU marathon, I'm like, when I get to this movie, I'm like, all right, yeah, let's watch Spider-Man. I was very fortunate to watch this with my mom, who's never seen it before. So in that way, I was able to rewatch it kind of with myself. She was watching for the first time, so I was greatly anticipating all the moments. It's a good first watch, but the rewatchability hurts it. That mixed with the Spider-Man elements that are lacking, which you guys thought, it kind of loses points with me. And it gets an 8.
All right, well, Ben, with your score of an 8, with my score of a 7.8, and Ethan with your score of a 7.5, that gives us a 7.767 out of 10, putting it just below Spider-Man and just above TASM 2. So that puts it right at 16th place, kicking Blade 2 out of the top 20.
Goodbye,
and
Blade.
kicking
Goodbye, Blade 2.
Yeah, kicking Fan 4 Stick. Oh, no, sorry. Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance out of the top 45. Further down.
Sorry, Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance.
Thor the Dark World is no longer in the top 30s. And Ang Lee's Hulk, which we did talk about today, is no longer in the top 40.
Goodbye, Ang Lee.
Oof.
See you
Bye.
later. We did not
Rest in
enjoy your
peace.
company very much.
But yeah,
So this is 16?
16.
16th
It is
place.
our out of our Spider-Man movies, it is, what is that, 3rd place? There's 2, there's 1, there's 3rd place.
Third?
3rd, yep. Because then there's TASM 2, Spider-Man 3, and then the Amazing Spider-Man way down there.
Way down there.
33rd place.
All right. 16th place. This one is definitely positive.
middle of
Definitely
the road.
positive side, but yeah, I would say it's more middle of the road. Even now, saying an 8 seems a little generous.
Yeah.
But I'm a week removed from my watch. I was definitely hotter on this back in the day. And I think a lot of the conversation here has kind of brought down what is a very fun movie, what is a very, I'll say this, very expertly made, expertly shot. Yeah, I'm missing that, swing through the city, but I think everything that it does very well. It's just we're missing that. But we do get that eventually. It's just with patience. But that's why this movie is not the best of the best Spider-Man movies. So I like it. 16th place. But what is next week? What do we got
Well,
coming up?
Well, you see, life finds a way, and finds a way to Thor Ragnarok.
Oh man.
Cool.
2017's final movie, Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok.
We are
the final good Thor film
ever.
That is not an opinion. That is a fact.
It's a factual statement as of right now.
The
in
last good
2023.
Taika Waititi film.
Is it
Oh,
really?
wait, never mind.
No.
Jojo Rabbit came out
Yeah,
after.
Jojo Rabbit. Come on.
Taika gets a bad rap for Love and Thunder, but I still think
Not undeserved though.
right, not undeserved. But I don't think you should not throw his whole directing career down the toilet
No.
because of one.
He's
bad
got a lot of
movie.
good stuff.
He does, and we'll talk about it next week.
Thor Ragnarok next
That
week.
time.
Dude, I'm looking forward to that one. So just so I remember correctly, we have Thor Ragnarok, then we have Black Panther, And then we have Infinity War.
That's right.
We're in the home stretch to Infinity
We're in
War.
you know how epic that is?
That is
You know what
epic.
that means? That means I can start watching the Infinity War trailer because after Thor Ragnarok, that's when the trailer premiered. So then I can start getting myself hyped for it again, just like I did in 2017, 2018. Oh, man.
Oh, man.
We're entering the home stretch. The end game is within sight, folks. Join us next week for Thor Ragnarok. As of right now, this is Ben Rayside.
Good old Spider-Man.
And good old Micah.
Signing off. We all hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.
I love us staring at the camera knowing dang well it's off. Hey, camera. What's up?
Oh, shoot. Hey, man. Audio podcasts.